Sony just dropped another State of Play on us, and wow, we got a lot of good stuff. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 big new State of Play announcements. Now, I'm not going to dilly-dally at the start here. Let's just get right into it. Starting off at number 10, Tekken 8. Now, Tekken 7 was a long time ago. It came out in 2015. Like the last Tekken came out 2 presidents ago. That's how long. And wow, we have got to say, this trailer was real-time rendered game footage running on a PlayStation 5, and holy crap, it looks phenomenal. Like, to call the graphics impressive would be just a huge understatement. Ridiculous understatement. Honestly, if you put this real-time footage out in the late 90s, people would not understand what planet you were from. CG films did not look this good for a while. Now, we don't know exactly if this is what the gameplay is going to look like. Like, if these camera movements are actually in-game, that's pretty badass. But we know for sure, given the fact this is real-time rendered on a PS5, that these weather effects are entirely possible in-game. And wow. I mean, Tekken's always been a phenomenal fighting game series, but it's just been such a long time. And this isn't a game that's gone overboard with side games. The only 3 they've done are 2 Tekken Tag tournaments and Dark Resurrection. Dark Resurrection never came out on a mainline platform. It was a PSP game. So, like, with some fighting game series, there's like a million versions of it, and they're on like number 4 or 5. Street Fighter comes to mind. But Tekken isn't like that. Like, and also Tekken's kind of an ongoing story. So there's just something interesting and special about a new Tekken. And this just looks like the best looking fighting game ever, depending on your taste. I mean, you might like the more anime looking fighting games more, I don't know. But this is really impressive, and I cannot wait to see more. We don't have any release date information, but rest assured, we will have our eyes peeled. And number 9 is Like a Dragon Ishin. So this comes to us from the Yakuza studio, RGG studio. It takes place at the end of the samurai period of Japan and bears the name Like a Dragon, which, as you know, is the name of the turn-based Yakuza game, which to me caused a little bit of confusion because I figured, okay, they're doing a game set in samurai times and it's going to be a turn-based RPG like Yakuza Like a Dragon. No. While the time period is correct, it is actually probably the most violent looking action adventure game of the Yakuza series, and I'm not 100% sure it's part of the Yakuza series. Now, it might be because they took a bunch of characters from the Yakuza series and cast them as historical figures to tell the story of the end of the samurai era in the same way many spaghetti westerns tell the end of the Wild West era of America. Now, when I say this is easily the most violent looking, you have a sword, there is so much blood, and you also have a gun, and you can hold the sword and the gun at the same time and slice people and shoot them. You can dual wield a sword and a gun in a Yakuza-style game set in the 1860s. This looks fantastic. I cannot wait to play this. This is going to be insane. I'm very excited for this. The Yakuza team has really put together a lot of interesting stuff over the last few years, and this is just another in a series of bold moves, and if they continue to pay off, really, that's a hell of a studio. Like a Dragon Ishin is slated for release in February 2023. At number 8, a VR experience is previously only available on the Oculus, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, which is a pretty well-received VR experience, like I said, on Oculus, is being enhanced for the PSVR 2. Now, this game is actually inspired by the Star Wars theme park at Disneyland in California, but don't let its origin fool you. It's a much more serious Star Wars title than you might expect, and you get to experience a bunch of different stories from across the Star Wars timeline, which are all centrally anchored around the Black Spire Outpost, which is the Disneyland resort area. Don't bother thinking about this aspect of it, because then it starts to feel like an advertisement for a theme park, and it's much better than that. I don't actually keep an Oculus in my home, so I've only gotten to play this through other people's equipment, and I'm not 100% sold on getting the PlayStation VR 2, but this will probably be my first purchase if indeed I do that. This is a game with really good shooting mechanics, that I think more first-person shooting VR games need to model off of. At number 7 is a new survival game called Pacific Drive. So I'm going to say this is probably the most original looking survival game I've seen in a long time. The point of this one is that you're in the Pacific Northwest, you have a car, and everything is surreal. In the trailer, the protagonist is working on the car. The radio comes through saying there's an instability front, and then everything goes totally haywire. You basically have to escape the area as this front rolls in, and everything turns into like alternate dimension freakiness. Now, I'm sure you'll also see most of the standard survival stuff in this game, but the ideas that they've layered on top of it make it look like it's actually something new and unique. I am really interested in this one. There's apparently a mystery to solve, and you're supposed to try to get yourself into the heart of what they're calling the Olympic exclusion zone. I don't know what any of that means. I just know that during the course of this trailer, a lot of cool stuff happens. It's going to be a survival game that I definitely want to play. Now, they don't give any specific date, but they say it is coming in 2023, so we will keep you updated on news. I mean, this is a sweet looking game. At number 6, a PlayStation exclusive Hogwarts Legacy quest was revealed. So it's called the Haunted Hogsmeade Shop. It includes a shop, the shopkeeper's cosmetic set, and an additional dungeon for the game. It's interesting because the shop's actually for sale and the owner wants to offload it really badly, probably because it's haunted, and the point is basically for you to acquire it as well as solve the haunting problem. I don't know how many additional hours of content that is, but an extra dungeon is pretty good for PlayStation players of Hogwarts Legacy, and that apparently just comes with all of the Hogwarts Legacy versions for the PS4 and 5. Hogwarts Legacy is launching on February 10th, 2023. At number 5, and this one's kind of interesting, Sony announced a PlayStation Stars loyalty program back on July 14th, where you'll log in, complete various campaigns. For instance, they'll have a monthly check-in campaign where you just have to play any game and you get a reward, but they'll have like campaigns that require you to earn specific trophies, win tournaments, or like be the first player to platinum something in your time zone. Anyway, they introduced some of their digital collectibles that they're going to be giving out. Like here they're showing off collectibles of like a PlayStation 3, a scene from Ape Escape 2, Toro and Kuro celebrating a birthday with a cake, the Pocket Station, and the Polygon Man. These are things you get for various reasons. Like, the ones that I detailed are some examples from when they announced it. There's also, like, achievements that will unlock various collectibles or points. It seems like just a thing that encourages you to play games more, or reward you if you already play them a lot. At number 4 is Synduality, a game that the premise is going to sound a little bit familiar. Basically, a poisonous rain killed off a lot of humanity and sent it underground, but you are not going to be delivering packages. No, actually, when you went underground, you built a cyberpunk city, met an AI, and built mecha, which you're going to go out in the world and take on monsters with. So, bit of a twist on that idea, right? It is a different looking game too. The environments on display are otherworldly. Clearly, this rain really transformed the world. It's not just a wide open, grassy, mountainous America that you're wandering around in. It's almost an alien looking planet. You take on the role of a drifter who is somebody who goes up to the surface and collects AO crystals. And obviously you get wrapped up in some intrigue. We don't have a release date for this one, but it's slated for 2023. It's a different looking title, and I think the more information we get about it, the better. It's got a lot of potential though. At number 3, God of War Ragnarok got a new story trailer, and I mean, you just have to give it to the God of War team. They have made something that looks absolutely epic. It's about, a story that we've probably heard a million times. Resisting fate, making your own destiny, etc., etc. But it's the way that this story is told that really matters, and it looks like God of War Ragnarok just has it aced. I can't wait to get into this because the first game set up so much interesting stuff that I've wanted to see play out, and they really made it look like it's going to build to a massive crescendo in this trailer. They also announced a special edition PS5 controller. It's a blue on white controller with a bear and wolf insignia, which represents the two main characters of the game. It's a cool looking controller, but I'll say it's honestly a little bit anticlimactic after the trailer. Still, it's a limited edition controller. It'll be available November 9th, the same day that God of War Ragnarok is landing on PS4 and 5. At number 2, Project Eve is now known as Stellar Blade. This was a game that we saw back in September of 2021. It's a very stylish and interesting looking game that looks like it's somewhere between Bayonetta and Dark Souls. The idea of the game is that Eve, the wielder of the Stellar Blade, is on a mission to save Earth, travels to the last surviving city, which is also not in great shape, and works to rebuild it, as it is clearly not in great shape and under siege. This is a game that has a very specific style to it, something that I don't know that I can say I've seen exactly something like it before. Like, we've got some androids that look like old men, or maybe old men that are now androids, I don't know. We've got some pretty gross looking monsters, to be frank, and it takes place on the backdrop of this ruined city. Things look really bleak, but then, like, when you activate certain things, they get really colorful, and potentially this is a very interesting game. I definitely like what it looks like now versus what it looked like a year ago, because I don't really remember it leaving a huge impact on me, whereas here it kind of did. It looks really cool. We didn't get a release date, but Stellar Blade is coming sometime in 2023. And finally, at number 1, and this is a big one, a new action RPG from Team Ninja called Rise of the Ronin. Now, as we all know, Team Ninja is pretty well known for a large number of very interesting and varied franchises, from Ninja Gaiden to Dead or Alive to Marvel Ultimate Alliance to Neo to even co-developing Hyrule Warriors with Omega Force. Rise of the Ronin looks like it takes on the mantle of Neo, however brings it into an open world. So if Neo is Team Ninja's Dark Souls, Rise of the Ronin appears at this moment to be their Elden Ring. Now, Like a Dragon, Ishin introduced wielding a sword and a gun at the same time for this list, and this is another thing that we've seen here. However, this looks like a much more deliberate, slow-paced game than that. It is set in a similar time period, the late 1800s in Japan, the end of the Edo period. Like I said, just as the Old West was ending, so did the Samurai period. And this is a completely different take on that from Like a Dragon, Ishin. This is a stunning looking game, might I add. Now, this one we're going to have to wait a little longer for. It's coming in 2024, but I have to say it looks like it's going to be worth the wait. I'm very excited for this game, and I have to say this state of play was actually a really good one. Not a lot of duds in terms of stuff I wasn't interested in, and I had to give it to Sony. This was something that got me excited about a lot of new stuff. But that's just me. What did you think? Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see things first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.